let's talk about the woke Lord of the Rings seminar that's taking place from the Tolkien Society. The Summer Society seminar is going to be about diversity. So they tell us that it's going to be a short academic conference, both of researcher-led and non-academic presentations on the specific theme pertaining to Tolkien's scholarship. While interest in the topic of diversity has steadily grown within Tolkien research, you see how this is going, right? It used to be about Tolkien, now it's about diversity.
Hang on, what do you mean Tolkien research? There are people who study Tolkien's books.
Yeah.
The fiction.
Yeah.
And try and find what?
Social justice?
Okay.
these guys do.
The whole concept of having a conference and not just being about, hey,
well, no, look, if you get a degree in English literature, you've got to do something, right? And this is what they do, right? And of course, you could do an internally consistent analysis of Tolkien's works, where you are talking about the world as it is, as it's presented, or you could start bringing in spurious ideological garbage, which is what they're doing here. While the interest in the topic of diversity has steadily grown within Tolkien research, it is now receiving more critical attention than ever before. So the SJWs are coming for Tolkien, which is amazing because, like, Tolkien, like, if you think about it, it's, like, if anything's going to be described as reactionary, it's got to be Tolkien. Like, I mean, it's not pro-diversity, is it? It's like we must keep the orcs out of Gondor.
Well, I mean, they are savages.
I agree, but then we're going to start.
I mean, they're about to murder the entire race of men for the orcs.
That's true.
So,
now let me explain to you why the orcs did nothing wrong. From the social justice... well, this is basically where they're going with it, right? Spurred by recent interpretations of Tolkien's creations and the cast list of an upcoming Amazon show, The Lord of the Rings, it is crucial we discuss the theme of diversity in relation to Tolkien.
Oh god, they're not going to pull out extra credits, are they, and claim that orcs are black people? Do you not see the extra credits video on this?
I did, and they're not going to say that. They're just going to assume it.
Oh, God.
Representation is now more important than ever, and Tolkien's efforts to represent or ignore particular characteristics requires further examination. Why, though? Why does it require that? Requires by who? And the answer is critical race theorists, obviously. Additionally, how a character's identity shapes and influences its place within Tolkien's secondary world still requires greater attention. Does it? The seminar aims to explore the possible applications of diversity within Tolkien's works, his adaptations, and his readership. Do you want to hear about the program?
Sure.
Go on, you know you do. You know you do, right? So Cordelia Longston is going to do a seminar called Gondor in Transition, a brief introduction to transgender realities in Lord of the Rings. It's going to be good.
King of Gondor.
You can watch this.
He's trans.
You can watch this on Zoom for free when this is out, and I will be watching.
For the July folks. Yeah,
I can't wait. So yeah,
put that on your calendar just to make sure.
Yeah, feel free. The next one, Claire Moore, The Problem of Pain, portraying physical disability in the fantasy of J.R.R. Tolkien. So we've got disability rights activists. We've got transgender activists.
Why?
Because V. Elizabeth King, The Burnt Hand teaches most about fire, applying traumatic stress and ecological frameworks to narratives of displacement and resettlement across cultures in Tolkien's Middle-earth. Sounds like a ripping yarn, doesn't it? Can't wait to get that one going. Sarah Brown, The Invisible Other, Tolkien's dwarf women and the feminine lack. Is there something wrong with dwarf women having beards? Something wrong with that? Are you saying that there's an essential feminine characteristic that lacks a beard? That seems transphobic. But hey... I'd
like to see how those two conversations are going to go down between them and the trannies.
I'm very much looking forward to it. Sultana Raza, projecting Indian myths, culture, and history onto Tolkien's worlds. Yes.
Why?
Because you'd have to. Because Tolkien is drawing from English mythology. And so Sultana Raza, an Indian lady who is an immigrant to Britain, is like, yeah, so I'm going to project my culture onto your mythology. I mean, it sounds like cultural appropriation when you do it, and if we were to do it the other way, I'm sure that's what you'd scream, but okay. The Nicholas Burns, The Lozoth, Indigeneity, Identity and Anti-Racism. God, that sounds gripping.
What has that got to do with any part of the Lord of the Rings?
Well, I guess we'll find out. Kristin Larson, The Problematic Perimeters of Elrond Half-Elven and Ronald English Catholic.
What?
I have no idea.
I don't even know. What?
Elrond is apparently half-elven, So, he's going to have to inquire about his racial identities, I suppose. But anyway, so the next one, I love this. Christopher Vaccaro, pardoning Saruman, the queer in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. I had no idea that Saruman was queer.
Why would you want to put like the big bad guy as the only queer in the story?
No, that's Sauron. Saruman is the white wizard who fights with Gandalf.
So the second worst guy in the movies.
The second worst guy in the movies. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. He's the guy who chops down the Ents forest for fuel for his giant industrial war machine for the orcs and goblins.
So they can put a big pride flag up. That's why.
Yeah, it was the white hand of the Uruk-hai or something, and pardoning him. He needs to be pardoned for creating an army of mutant elves to try and wipe out nature.
But he's pardoned because he's queer. Right.
I mean, there's no indication from my knowledge that he's queer. His sexuality just doesn't come up as far as I remember, but I'm not an academic on it. Sonali Chundukar, The Desire of the Ring, and Indian academic's adventures in her quest for the perilous realm. Sounds self-indulgent, doesn't it? Robin Reed, queer atheists, agnostics, and animists. Oh my. Are we really talking about Lord of the Rings here? Talk about yourself, Robin. Joel Meriner, Hidden Visions, Iconography of Alterity in Soviet bloc illustrations for Lord of the Rings. I looked into this guy. He seems to just be a fetishist for the USSR, like you.
Okay, I'm not a fetishist for the USSR.
Please.
I just find it interesting. I'm not promoting it.
I just sit there all day listening to Soviet music on my headphones. Of course
I'm not going to conferences and being like, hey guys, Lord of the Rings, that was about the Soviet bloc.
Only because you're not getting invites. Eric Reinders, Questions of Caste or Caste in the Lord of the Rings and its multiple Chinese translations. Why not? Dawn Wool's Thummer, Stars Lestrange, an analysis of fan fiction and representation within the Tolkien fan community. I bet they're too white. Any money the Tolkien fan community is just too white.
Yeah.
Not enough diversity. Dana Peterson said, Something Mighty Queer, Destabilizing Cis-Hetero Amatonormativity in the Works of Tolkien. Destabilizing the works of Tolkien. That's what she did. Destabilizing cis-hetero. I don't even know what amatonormativity is meant to mean, but whatever it is, she's trying to destabilize the works of Tolkien. You see where this is going? This is all about chipping away at your favorite thing, and we're going to completely deconstruct it.
Yeah, and we're going to reconstruct it with none of the original parts.
With none of the original
social
parts.
Justice nonsense.
Yep. And and of course, Martha Celis Mendoza, translation as a means of representation and diversity in Tolkien's scholarship and fandom. So that looks fantastic. Woke Tolkien seminars, and I will be rapt tuning into all of these because they're being broadcast on YouTube, of course, so I'll be very much enjoying this. And I just figured we'd just take a look at the profiles of some of the people involved. So this is Dr. Sarah Brown, who describes herself as a proud Tolkien nerd, faculty chair for the Language and Literature Master's Program at Signum U. All my views my own, I assure you, she, her, of course. The next tweet, I thought this was interesting. This is just her saying, yep, I'm coming to this. And notice how she's got a Welsh flag, a European flag, and BLM in her profile.
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like the pronouns are the most standout thing. Like, that's enough. Someone uses pronouns in their bio, just disregard. Yeah. Disregard.
Absolutely. The next one is Dr. Chris Vaccaro, senior lecturer, has been teaching English at UVM since 1999. One on his introductory courses include British Literature Survey, Introduction to Old English, Beowulf. This is all sounding quite good so far. Queers of Colour, Women of the Middle Ages, Tolkien's Middle-earth, Tolkien's The Hobbit, Queering the Middle Ages, the History of the English Language and Written Expression. Very interesting. Sultana...
It sounds like someone from the 50s has teleported to the modern age when they say queers of colour. Like, some redneck is like...
Queering the Middle Ages.
Queers of colour around here. Like, that sounds like their language. It does not sound...
Yeah, I know, but they're reclaiming it, you see.
Okay.
Reclaiming it.
Well, I guess, can we reclaim the N-word then? Is that going to happen? Or?
Nope.
No.
Anyway.
But, we can do it with queer, can't we? Yeah.
Sultana Raza, she just described herself as of Indian origin, with a Master's in English Literature. Nicholas Burns has apparently faculty of NYU with a forthcoming book on Trollope and blah, 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 Australian powers, stuff like this. But this is a really interesting tweet from him, right? If we get to the next one. The same people who are anti-internationalist and believe America should go it alone are those who, when they travel, post hundreds of self-aggrandizing pictures on social media. Yes, that's right. If you don't want to be ruled by a foreign power, yet you go on holiday. Interesting. Yeah, it's big think time, Nicholas. That's a good point, though. You know, like the
I do go on holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose I should give up all sovereignty.
I do. I want our borders to exist, and I still go on holiday. Interesting. It's such. The next one is Christine Larson. She is an astronomy professor who's giving a talk there, and this is an amazing account because it's literally her just being pathologically anti-Trump, and she hasn't tweeted in over a year. So it's, I mean, if you just scroll it, it's just her going, I mean, look at this.
The last one was
Happy birthday. She retweeted this in June 2020. Happy birthday, Donald Trump. May you never forget what a real president looks like. Hashtag Trump wears adult diapers. Thank you, Professor. Thank you for your deep insights on the Twitter. Just, it's embarrassing.
And then just as soon as Trump was banned, I assume
That's
logged
it.
off.
Yeah, logged off. Never gone back on there. Just gone on there to do my part to go, Trump wears nappies. Like an academic.
Oh, boy.
Like, what? It's just embarrassing. But anyway, the next one's Robin Reed. Specializations include creative writing, new media, critical theory. What a shock. Fantastic literatures, especially Tolkien. Her stylistics publication includes articles on Lord of the Rings, both the novel and the film. Her peer-reviewed articles have appeared in Extrapolation Style and Tolkien Studies. She's serving as the co-editor of Special, Race, Ethnicity and Fandom Edition of an online peer-reviewed fan studies, Transformative Works and Culture.
She's a do-nothing.
She's a critical theorist. Exactly the kind of person I was expecting.
Produces nothing of value, destroys anything of value.
Well, they are here to, what was the exact terminology before I misquote it? Destabilize the works of Tolkien.
Yeah.
In their own description.
They're literally just the academic version of the kid who kicks over sandcastles and does nothing else.
Yeah, they're literally here to deconstruct Tolkien, which is a shame because I like Tolkien, but I mean I wouldn't call myself like a Tolkien scholar or anything. I've never read the Silmarillion. Sorry, nerds, you know. But anyway, the next one is Dana Peterson Deeprose, who's the stylistic editor and content database manager for Narrative Muse, born in Montreal, Canada, an MA in English Literature from McGill University, where they research focused on the literature of the sublime and the grotesque. They spend most of their time maniacally reading fiction of all genres, writing short stories, talking loudly about social justice issues, and going on picnics.
Okay.
Looks fascinating, doesn't it? I can't wait to watch this. This is going to be gold. Absolute gold.
This is going to be like, what was it, the DSA? You know, they had all their thing live streams, and you had the my point of personal privilege. Like, it's going to be that. For
Lord of the Rings.
For like 3 days or whatever it was.
Why Saruman was actually the good guy. And he was right to create a race of mutant elves to chop down the things. Oh yeah, I missed Joel Mariner's one, alliterative dislocation in Central and Eastern European illustrations for Lord of the Rings. So he's fascinated by Soviet interpretations of Lord of the Rings.
He spelled Tolkien there with Cyrillic for some reason. Don't know why.
Seems to be a simp for the USSR.
I know what you're looking at me. I don't really simp for the USSR.
Well, we've got different interpretations of that.
Whoa. The DPRK is not the USSR.
Yeah, but there's so much difference. I can't believe I would confuse the two. But yeah, so this woke Tolkien Lord of the Rings conference looks great, in my opinion. I can't wait to watch it. And you can find it on the Tolkien Society's website, where they have links to their YouTube channel where they're going to be live streaming it. Should be good. If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 p.m. UK time on lotuseaters.com.